Okay. Listen, I waited long enough to talk about this. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Madrimov the Artist. This is Boxing Unwrapped. Listen, quick things out the way. Devin Haney, he's a dog. Congratulations against Ryan Garcia. I don't really have much else to cover on that fight. If there's something else that happens along the way, we'll cover that. But right now, that well's been kind of milked a little bit, so it's whatever. But this fight here, I remember when it was announced, I was like, wait, hold on. This is the fight that basically all the Bud Crawford's fans were saying, oh, the money fight. Why Jaron Ennis? Like, who has he fought? What has he done? What does he bring to the table? Who is Jaron Ennis? He's not known enough. Okay, then this guy, Israel Madrimov. I don't. When I first saw him, he looked like Timu version of like Triple G, right? I mean, I didn't know who this guy was. I still don't know who he is, really. To be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I know exactly who he is, right? Um, and I'm like, this, you gotta be shitting me. Like, we passed up Jaron Ennis and three-time undisputed for a trinket belt that brings nothing to the table, and you're giving a guy with 10 wins, all to win, nothing to lose, brings zero recognition to the table, no notable accomplishments. His amateur record is pretty much trash. He has one draw already against people, again, none of us have heard of. So I'm like, okay. Now what I did was I went back and I said, let me see who he is. Let me find out who he is. Now let me tell you who I think he is. Now his last fight, I mean, he knocked out a guy who had over double his experience as a professional, undefeated, stoppage, fifth round. Take a look at this.
And I think that's important for him because that's just stopping Madrimov from just cutting
for Kerben off there.
Maybe
he's moving off the top. Oh, and he caught him with another left hook, and we may have a hurt fight.
Oh, and again, beautiful shot. And see the move very well.
Good left body, and now back upstairs. And these are
fantastic shot.
Pick it up. And look at this, Madrimov! They're gonna stop it!
Was
the performance of a lifetime on his biggest stage, and he is.
Now what you saw there was what I also saw, which I had no idea who he was, right? A very athletic fighter. Not in the ring during the fight though. After. Backflipping, running around. And I'm like, who does that remind me of? Gervonta Tank Davis. Except Davis, when he backflips and he does all this kind of stuff, he also in the ring, you can see where all of those athleticisms come from, right? He gives you low angles. He's like moving, right? He's doing all of this. Like he's giving you this. Like he's giving you all these angles and speed and power. You don't see that at all from Madrimov during his fights. But what you do see is sneaky, thudding power. It's like a battering ram or menacing ball or something on like those old cartoons where the wrecking ball will go through the wall and you see it in slow motion, but it doesn't have to go fast to break through the wall. It's just so heavy. He looks heavy-handed. He has the build of Triple G and little mixing with better Biev, right? Where his body just looks dense, right? Like really built. He doesn't look like he has footwork, but he doesn't use it at all much, but I seen in some of his fights he does use his footwork, and he looks at age 29, no spring chicken really, but neither is Crawford. He could have been or could still be a great prospect to a championship. He already has that, but it was against a guy who, again, also nobody really knew about. But interesting enough, his first pro fight, he fought a guy 10-2. The worst record of one of his fights is a guy who was named by Charlie Navarro, who was 29-9. No, I'm sorry, Roberto Gonzalez with 24-12, and his second worst record is 29-9 from Charlie Navarro. And the rest of the guys have only a maximum of 3 losses, and they have some of them have over 35 wins. So this guy's early pro record, although I don't recognize the names, were guys who were 3 losses. Aside from his third fight, a guy having 24-12, and his fifth fight, a guy was 29-9. I mean, they were presumably putting him in tough. Now, why do I say all of this? After all of this time, now listen, Bud fans, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying Madrimov is going to come here and shock the world, but he's been put in tough compared to his record. All it takes is for 37-year-old Crawford to turn 30, full 38 on that night. And his footwork stays stationary. His reflexes lapse a little. This guy is about 9 years younger, fresher. He does have thudding power. Again, against competition we don't really know about, but they've been putting him in with more experienced guys his entire pro career. Sort of maybe to move him along because he has less time, which is smart, right? You find out what you got early. If Crawford slips on this fight, it's over. Mean Machine was able to drop Crawford. Granted, it wasn't like he was hurt or he did go down though. It did catch him. It did ding him. This guy may have opportunities based on what I saw against Errol Spence. This guy might have opportunities, but he doesn't seem to have the hand speed, so that might be his downfall. And if Bud is still Bud by the time this fight happens, I don't really foresee any issues or problems. I don't know if this guy has a chin or not, so that'll be tested. But again, my thing is, why would you give a guy who's 10-0, 1 draw, 7 knockouts, because he just has a trinket, for you to now skip over 3-time undisputed with Jaron Ennis, make a legacy fight for yourself, because you've only fought one guy, and that's Errol Spence. To me, that's not a Hall of Fame career. If he retires now, for me, not a Hall of Fame career. Jaron Ennis gets him closer. There's no one on his resume, aside from Errol Spence, that you can point to and say, that's Sean Porter, but that was not the Sean Porter. And that was a close fight until the very end. You got one Hall of Famer, which I would think was a little faded, not too much. Errol Spence, who had been on a 17-month layoff, car crash, maybe wasn't at the best weight, and that's your best win. I give it to you. Now you go into a guy who's 10-0, who has nothing to lose. If he loses that night in his title, he lost nothing. But if he catches you, makes you look bad, and you still win, you lose. You lose. And if this is a pay-per-view fight, which has Abner Mares on there, and it has Andy Ruiz on it, Isaac Cruz fighting a guy in Rayo, which has lost his last 2 out of 3 fights. This pay-per-view is gonna flop hard, and it's gonna be very tough for him to get a better opponent and demand the kind of money. Now, Turkey Al-Rashid is saying he will try to front the Jaron Ennis fight, but if this fight flops, if this pay-per-view, it shouldn't be pay-per-view, but if it is, and it flops hard, what bargaining chips do you bring to the table? And Jaron Ennis is going to say, you gave a guy who was 10-0 a shot, and you want this much money, and you didn't sell no tickets, you're not a draw. Unfortunately, he has a Devin Haney curse. Talented guy, nobody wants to go see him fight. I don't know why. But anyway, let me know in your comments below. Is this Bud's most dangerous fight ever, based on the circumstances and where he is in his career? Or is this a money fight he was claiming he was going to do? What did you want him to do instead of this fight? Because I know real Bud fans wanted him to fight somebody else. What do you want him to do? Let me know in the comments below. Again, share, like, and subscribe. See you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.